The Cosatu's 14th National Congress continues today in Midrand, north of Johannesburg. Yesterday, delegates blocked ANC National Chairperson Gwede Mantashe from addressing them. They heckled and booed Mantashe and accused him and the ANC-led government of failing the workers after reneging on the pay hike agreement signed in 2018. SABC News reporter Samkele Maseko joins us now live for an update. Samkele, the president of Cosatu yesterday telling the ANC, get rid of the bad apples. What has been the reaction?
Indeed, Cosatu members yesterday, through the various unions, prohibited the national chairperson of the ANC, Gwede Mantashe, from speaking and addressing this particular Congress of the South African Congress of South African Trade Unions yesterday, citing that wage agreement that the government reneged on the third year of implementation. Gwede Mantashe being adamant that he will definitely address these workers this morning, also saying that they were exercising and showing their frustrations in the wrong platform. One wonders where they are supposed to exercise and show their frustrations with the government, apart from being inside the Congress of their federation, Cosatu, to elect new leaders of the federation. So they are unhappy with government and how government has treated them with this particular issue of the public sector wage agreement that was signed 3 years ago that government has reneged on. We have seen in the previous months the former Minister of Public Administration, that would be Ayanda Dlodlo, addressing this specific issue. She did not succeed in finalizing it before jetting off to the United States of America at the World Bank. And this time around, it's left the ANC-led administration and the national chairperson of the ANC. I'm just going to ask this gentleman, what are you saying? Is that down to what?
Down to 3%. We don't want 3%, we want 10%.
Why do you want 10% and not 3%?
We had no increase since 2018 up to now, and we can't cope with the inflation. So that is why we are demanding 10%.
Are you still going to prohibit the national chairperson of the ANC, Gwede Mantashe, from speaking this morning?
Yes, we're still going to make them to account because they are in government. They should be the one who are responding to our demands because they are in government.
Thank you very much, sir. That is one of the members of one of the unions that belongs to Cosatu, speaking about the proposed 3% at the bargaining council of public sector unions. They are saying they don't want that 3%. They want a 10% wage increase, as they've not had any increments within the last 3 years. You'd remember government reneged on that specific agreement and did not put it into fruition. You'd remember the then Minister of Finance, Tito Mboweni, speaking about these issues relating to the public sector wages, saying that government cannot afford to pay those wages due to the sluggish economy and the lack of revenue that is coming in for government within the country, and that revenue collection as well through the South African Revenue Services, SARS, had gone down. So in essence, these workers pretty unhappy with the ANC-led administration. One wonders if the ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa will even address this Congress of the South African Congress of South African Trade Unions. Remember, he's not normally used to opening the Congress of Cosatu. That would be the ANC presidents from the era of former President Mandela, Thabo Mbeki, going to President Zuma, and now Cyril Ramaphosa. It always used to be on the first day of the Cosatu Congress that an ANC top 6 member, either the deputy president, the national chair, the SG, or the TG, comes to address Cosatu. But on its final day, or a day before the closing of the Cosatu Congress, the ANC president would come and address this Congress. Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of the ANC, still pretty much not the favorite of the workers at this point in time, due to government reneging on the implementation of the wages of the increments for public sector workers who've not had an increase in 3 years. They don't want 3%, they want 10%. Gwede Mantashe is here. There is still currently a caucus to discuss whether they should allow him to address this Congress or not.
Samkele, another interesting development at this Congress. We're told that SAFTU President Zwelinzima Vavi, SAFTU has been invited to the Cosatu 14th National Congress with full speaking rights. What can you tell us about this?
I think you'd be speaking about the General Secretary, Zwelinzima Mavavi. Indeed, he is invited to this Congress of Cosatu. He will have a speaking right. You remember as well that SAFTU, in their own Congress, they were discussing the issue of worker unity. Cosatu representatives were not present at the SAFTU Congress. But you'd remember that in one of the Cosatu's events, which took place virtually, SAFTU was invited to that specific event of this particular federation, Cosatu, and Zwelinzima Mavavi was given a platform to sit throughout that entire session of the Congress of South African Trade Unions. They have been preaching that unity of the workers is of paramount importance, despite their differences of who they are specifically aligned to, or that they are no longer one federation. You'd remember, you've seen alliances between NUMSA, NUM and AMCU. You've seen an alliance within the mining sector, within the platinum belt, within the gold sector as well, of AMCU and NUM working together, which shows you that workers are working together across trade union federations and across their unions themselves. With that unity that is being showed by AMCU and NUM, you go to the SAFTU Congress that took place at the Birchwood Hotel. You'd remember how Zwelinzima Mavavi and how the former General Secretary of Cosatu, that would be Mbazi Mamasholowa, went to town in explaining the importance of worker unity despite their differences that are there, and especially with the current contemporary politics in the country, with the ANC not enjoying that love that they used to have from the Congress of South African Trade Unions due to the deplorable state that the workers find themselves in, with the high cost of living, inflation going up, interest rates going up, and there being no increments for the workers. So it's not a surprise that SAFTU has been invited through their General Secretary, Zwelinzima Mavavi, and also who will have full speaking rights at this Congress of South Africa, of the Congress of South African Trade Unions, Cosatu.
Samkele, I know you've been working, so you might not have seen this development, but the Provincial Secretary of the African National Congress, Begim Tolo, just addressed the media a few moments ago, giving their list of preferred candidates for the 55th elective conference in December, saying that for president, they want Dr. Zwelini Mkhize, for deputy president, they want Paul Mashatile, and for chairperson, they want Stanley Mathabata, and giving the entire list of the top 6 there. Just in terms of that interview you had at the weekend with Minister for Cooperative Governance, Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, and this state of affairs in KwaZulu-Natal, her name not even coming up there. What are the dynamics there?
Essentially, you are seeing the PEC of KwaZulu-Natal defying former President Jacob Zuma as he had various meetings with the provincial leadership of KwaZulu-Natal. In fact, in the early hours of this morning, former President Zuma did issue out that correspondence to ANC members and branches, saying that he has not moved a single inch. That is a direct quote from his letter to ANC members, saying that he is still fully behind Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, saying that, in fact, all of those people contesting President Cyril Ramaphosa now, in fact, in 2017, supported President Ramaphosa, and all of them have bags and bags of money, and also saying that he's also available for a national chairpersonship position. But it's not new that the province of KwaZulu-Natal would defy former President Zuma like this. You'd remember, they also defied him on the issue of the provincial secretary. He wanted Super Zuma, but instead Begim Tolo was put into that particular position. I am now going to bring in Mr. Joe Mpisi, who represents the African Communist Party, just to speak on the issues pertaining to the booing and the heckling of Gwede Mantashe, the national chairperson of the ANC. Mr. Mpisi, the national chairperson of the ANC was barred from speaking here yesterday. What does that signify, particularly for the workers who are saying, SACP, where are you? Stand up.
The workers have spoken yesterday. The workers are angry, and I think all of us must respect that. I think it's a wake-up call for the ANC that when the working class is not happy, this will happen to the African National Congress. This is something that the ANC should worry about. When its motive force, the most important motive force in the alliance, which is the workers, that is not currently happy with the African National Congress. It is something that the ANC leadership must take that very, very serious. We as the Communist Party, we can't blame workers. The workers are angry, and we can see our movement is going down the drain each and every day in front of our eyes. And I can say that as a party, we are here to support the workers, and we are also here to influence the policy outcome of this particular conference.
Thank you very much, Mr. Peace. As you can see, the former Cosatu president, I was going to try and go to him. That is Stumo Dlamini, particularly looking at the state of the labor movement in the country at this point. I'm just going to ask my colleague, Masabata, just to quickly get the equipment if it's possible. No, it's not going to be feasible to go to Mr. Stumo Dlamini, the former president of the Congress of South African Trade Unions. But I'm not alone here at Galaga Estate at this Congress of the Congress of South African Trade Unions. I am with my colleague Kahle Likhodi as I link to him.
Well, Samkele will be coming to you live from inside the venue. This is the day 2 of Cosatu's 14th National Congress. This has already seen a hive of activities on the ground in terms of those delegates that have gathered here from very early in the hours of the morning just to take stock of day 2 and to prepare in terms of what can be expected here today. We know very well that they had caucus meetings from very early in the morning, just trying to draft a way forward in terms of what happened here yesterday. We're coming to you live from a load-shedded hall right here at the Galaga Convention Center. This is where most of the people that are gathered here are using their torches to try and find each other and see who's who and who's here as they try by all means to wait for that generator to kick in. This is a challenge that most of the workers, even Cosatu President Zingiswa Losi yesterday was outlining to say that the power challenge, the energy challenge is something that really should be attended to by the powers that be. But today we're expecting to see a hive of activity where SACP will also be taken to the podium to give their message of support here on the ground. We're also expecting for the ANC to make some sort of a return in terms of going to the podium and trying by all means to address, yesterday that address could not happen because the workers here on the ground barred the ANC National Chairperson Gwede Mantashe from speaking here and addressing those that have gathered here. Today we are expecting the financial report to be presented here on the ground in terms of the finances of the federation, in terms of what can be done as well in supporting the federation that is home to about 1.5 million workers countrywide here at home. But I'm going to bring in Satu, the Satu president, who will just join us and let us in on day 2 and their expectations here on the ground. And Tate Mahope Mapila, thank you very much, sir, for joining us on the SABC. Today is day 2. Satu is here. Your members are in high spirits and they are ready to engage on issues that really affect the workers. What are you looking forward to where day 2 is concerned?
As far as we are concerned regarding day 2, we expect a smooth conference that must conclude on the political report, go on to deal with socio-economic issues and organizational report, and of course the finance report that you spoke to. At the beginning of this Congress, we adopted rules as to how we were going to engage. It's unfortunate what happened yesterday because if delegates were of the view that the ANC should not be speaking, they should have raised it at the beginning when we adopted the agenda. We were waiting to hear what the ANC was going to say, and it's very unfortunate for the country, we must say as SATU, that comrades can't differentiate between the African National Congress and the employer. So the bargaining issues do not necessarily have to be deviled as to an extent of not allowing to hear the other voice. So that we did not allow the ANC to speak yesterday, it's regrettable. We're waiting to hear from other affiliates as to what is their attitude in terms of the delegates to say, do they allow the ANC to go on or not? But you'll never see the importance of the sun until it sets. If one day these things that we're doing against ourselves, because we are the ANC is us. So if the ANC was to lose power come 2024, all of us will regret. We know what is happening in the Western Cape, where we are not in charge. And should it happen across the board, all of us will regret that.
Yeah, So, Mr. Mapila, just let us in then on, the way forward. We know very well that the workers are not happy. There's an issue at the bargaining council where government, we know the ANC is in government, so mostly they would be the ones that are perceived as the employer here. And where that 3% wage offer is concerned in the public sector, that's what workers have taken issue with, to say that even at the bargaining council, we've seen the ANC not coming, or the governing party not coming, or the employer really coming forward with proposals that would move, the workers in terms of the socio-economic challenges that they're experiencing on the ground. Would you say that some of the sentiments coming from the workers are justified to say that we've been trying by all means to negotiate even at the level of the bargaining council, but we still find ourselves here where the employer, instead of negotiating with us, it's even threatening to take us to court, saying that 3% is something that is the final offer coming from the employer? Would you say that those concerns coming from the workers, looking at the day-to-day struggles that they're experiencing, is something that can be taken into consideration here?
No. The workers should have made their statement yesterday, all right? But after having made a statement, they should have allowed the ANC to speak, to hear what is the response of the ANC towards their anger. That's what should have happened. Now, regarding the PSCB issues, the PSCBC issues, unions have been given an opportunity to go to their members, to go and find out if they accept the 3% or not. And that's how the game is played. So there's no rigidity here. You would know, you're talking about 3%, but it's 3% plus 1,000 gratuity. And you combine the two, it escalates to 6% and above. It depends on what you communicate into members. Because if we did not want the gratuity, we should have said over and above the 3%, put the 1,000 gratuity into the basket, so that it will be 3 plus. So we're speaking as if it's 3% and 3% alone. What about the gratuity? Because it's us who fought for it and said, members, never before did they manage to get, when we negotiated on a baseline, they never managed to get anything 1,000 plus, especially the lowest paid workers. So we're of the view that, yes, the gratuity must come to an end on the 31st of March next year, and everything else must be brought together in a baseline. But for now, we can't stall everything on the basis of just us alone. We must at some stage, and in fact our expectation at this Congress, it's with the 12.5 million people that are unemployed in the country, what are we doing as workers? Because we can't continue to indicate left and turn right. We're saying the working class. Working class includes even those that want to work but can't access work. So it's like those of us who are already working. We're looking at ourselves and ourselves alone. We forget about those that are not able to access employment. So we must balance the two, because the country is in trouble. The economy is not performing, and it's not just in our country only. It's across the world. So what are we doing?
Mr. Mahope,
we must be alive to this.
most definitely, Mr. Mahope Mapila, thank you very much, sir, for joining us on the SABC. He is the SATU president, just coming through to let us in on their expectations on day 2. You heard him there just talking about what is happening in terms of some of the issues that they want to be addressed here on the ground, saying that they're at least looking forward to the ANC addressing those that have gathered here today. But I'm going to ask my colleague to just show you what is happening in terms of those that are demonstrating from far. This is a hive of activity. We are still in the dark, as you can imagine. Load shedding has happened, but the delegates here are in good spirits, just waiting to engage on day 2. This is where we'll be seeing also the financial report just coming to light. You can see them in good spirits there, in high spirits, coming in, walking into just embark on those high-level negotiations, high-level discussions on the ground. You had the SATU president there talking about really the political report that will also need to be presented here on the ground in terms of what the workers are expecting and they are calling for. But we're expecting it to be a little bit of a long day in terms of those negotiations, and it really remains to be seen if the ANC chairperson Gwede Mantashe, we are told that he's already somewhere around here, if he will be actually given the opportunity to really discuss and negotiate and really deliver that address here on the ground. But we're on day 2, looking forward to Cosatu President Zingis, who in a moment from now will be giving an open address, and after that, that is where the ball will get rolling and the day will get started.